Hey guys, it's Jaden over BHA here, bringing you another product review video. So the nice folks over at Zemismart again sent me for a lack of better terminology, a combo pack. I mentioned this in my October status update video, but basically it has it came with a dimmer switch, similar to the one in the photo here, and then the other item that I got was a wall plugs, I guess, with a USB port on them and everything. So we're going to break it up into two videos. This is part one of the series, I guess, and it will cover the dimmer switch. So you can purchase the combo pack on Zemismart's webpage, as you see here. It's a little less than $45. And according to Zemismart, you are able to mix and match different types of switches and wall plugs or whatever in this combo pack. I couldn't figure out how to do it on their website, but nonetheless, check around. You may have to contact their support to ask them. Supposedly, they're going to update that as well. Well, let's check this out. Alright, so if you didn't want to buy it on Zemismart's website, you can get it on AliExpress. And if you are willing to wait until, I think, November 11th, AliExpress is going to have a huge Zemismart sale. I don't have all the details on that yet, but they told me that there's a huge sale coming up on AliExpress around mid-November. I think it's like 11/11. As soon as I get more information on that, I will let you guys know. But as you can see, it's roughly about the same price, and it's possible on the AliExpress page you may have a better ability to mix and match. Not really sure on that one. Those are a couple different places that you can get this from if you're interested. It's a little over $22 per device, so not too bad. These are both Wi-Fi enabled devices, and of course hopefully we will be able to get them flashed with Tasmota. We're definitely going to give it a shot. So let's do a quick run through of everything we're going to cover in this video. As I said, this is the first part of that series of the two devices, so we're going to start, of course, by unboxing the device as we usually do. Then we'll kind of do at least some sort of a walkthrough on installing the switch. Once we get it installed in my house, then we're going to attempt to flash it with Tasmota firmware. And if we're lucky enough to get it flashed properly, then we will configure Tasmota. Once we get it configured in Tasmota and everything looks good there, we will get it added into Home Assistant. And then, of course, lastly, I'll show you what that looks like in action. So let's get started. Alright, so here we are unboxing the device. In the top corner it says wall light switch. Obviously that's not everything that's in the box. It does mention 2-pack down in the corner there. It's got some product specs on the back there. Let's open this up. And there we are. We have the dimmer switch there on the right, and the little wall plug with the USB port on the left there. So again, for this video, we're going to cover this dimmer switch here. The configuration is pretty basic. It's got a little touch panel in the middle with an LED on it. I think that's going to display the level of brightness. And then on the bottom, lower level button on the bottom and a higher level button on the top. So we'll see how this works. And of course, inside the box as well, you get a wall plate for those. Obviously, I'm not installing these two together, so that won't necessarily matter. It also comes with the screws and the wire nuts, as well as instructions for both devices as far as configuration goes. So one for the dimmer switch here, and then another one for the wall plug. Both of these devices are, pretty standard as far as Wi-Fi enabled smart switches go. They have all the wires coming out of it that you will basically just wire to your existing house wiring, and should just power right up and run as we need them to. This dimmer switch will not work on a 3-way switch, so you will not be able to do that if you're trying to use it in a 3-way setup. It will not function. Let's go ahead and move on to that next step. Alright, so just to kind of give a small run through of what we're doing, I'm not going to go into full details of installing this switch because, like I said, it's pretty self-explanatory on how it's set up. I'm installing it in my bedroom. As you can see, my bedroom is just the old style, at least in the United States, old style toggle switches. So I'm gonna install the dimmer on one side, and then on the other side, which is the fan, we're just gonna put a basic Decora switch. So I got all my stuff here that I'll need for the install. I got the new dimmer switch. I bought a Decora toggle switch there to replace the fan one, and then of course we're going to use the wall plate they sent us, and then we got our screws and wire nuts. So we are ready to go. All right, so here I have the new device installed. I've gone ahead and turned the breaker back on just to make sure that I didn't, no wires came out or were loose in the midst of pushing everything back in the box. My fan switch is on the left there, and it's actually managed by a Shelly 1. You can't see it, but it is behind there. On the right is the new dimmer switch that we just got from Zemismart. Everything looks good. Everything's got power. So we can go ahead and get the wall plate installed now, because I feel comfortable that everything is set up correctly. Let's just see if it turns everything off. Lights go on and off. Looks like everything is functioning as it should. I think we're good to go. Alright, so I screwed up in the whole deal of recording my to convert flashing of this device. I completely apologize for that, but I will tell you that instructions that I followed are straight from DigiBlur's YouTube video. I'll have a link in the description below. I've kind of mentioned this before. I, again, am sorry about that, but follow along with his video for getting your new to convert device set up and flashed, and you should be good to go. To put this switch in flashing mode, once you have it powered on and everything, you're just going to touch that touch panel in the middle and hold it down, or keep touching it until you see an 8 or a B, whatever you want to call that there, flashing. It will start blinking rapidly. You know the device is in flashing mode, and you are ready to continue with the to convert install of Tasmota. Once you have it flashed and you followed his instructions in his video, and all that is done, then we are ready to move on to the next step. Alright, so I've gotten my device out of AP mode. I've got it on my Wi-Fi network. So now we are ready to start doing the configuration. Alright, so just to kind of give you a rundown, this device is in the user templates on Tasmota's page. So as you can see here, it's got the template that we need for this to work properly. And it does mention, depending on what version of Tasmota you're on, if you're on 6.6.0.10 or higher, you might need to do these additional steps down below. So just keep that in mind. But basically, we're going to go in the configuration, go down to configure template. As you can see, I already have one created. It's called bedroom dimmer. And the only two things that really matter here are I set GPIO 1 to Tuya TX, and then GPIO 3 to Tuya RX. Of course, you'll need to save that if you haven't already created it. And then we're going to go over to configure module and set this to be the one we're using. So bedroom dimmers there. We'll go ahead and hit save. Give that a second to reboot. So we'll click on the configuration again and just make sure that our mqtt setup is correct. Point it to your server. Make sure you have your username and password there for your mqtt server, as well as whatever topic you want to have this named as or anything like that. Once you have it set up the way you want, go ahead and save it. So if you remember in the user template for this particular switch, there was another setting in there that if you were on anything greater than 6.6.0.10, which I am, this is 6.7.0, then you have to do a tuya MCU command in the console. So we're going to do that here. We'll do tuya MCU space 21,2. That's setting the DP ID and the function ID for the dimmer. It will reboot the switch again after that change, but it will come back up and everything should work good. We're also going to set the dimmer range. So the full range for this is 1 to 255, I think, for this particular one. So we're going to do a dimmer range 1,255. We are ready to move on to that next step. All right, so to add devices into Home Assistant, we are going to edit our light.yaml file here. Basically find an open spot down here at the bottom. Our platform is going to be mqtt. Now the name for mine is going to be Master Bedroom Light. You can call yours whatever you want. For the command topic, again, this is your configuration that you set up in the mqtt settings of your Tasmota web interface. So for mine, my command topic is zemi/br_light/cmnd/power. For the state topic, it will be similar to that. It'll be zemi/br_light/stat/power. And for the state value template, it's going to be value_json.power. Brightness command topic, it will be zemi/br_light/cmnd/dimmer. And then the brightness state topic will be zemi/br_light/stat/result. And then, of course, the brightness value template will be value_json.dimmer. Now for this, the brightness scale is going to be 100. I think by default the scale is 255, so we're changing that to 100 here. QoS will be 1. For the payload_on, we'll set this to on in all caps. And the payload_off will be off in all caps. And then lastly, and probably the most important setting for this, is the on command type. That's on_command_type. We're going to set this to first. Now by default, I think it is set to last. And basically what this means is that with it being set to first, that it will send the power status first and then the dimmer command, versus if you set it to last, it'll send the dimmer or brightness command first and then the power. Once we have all that in there, we're going to go ahead and save it. And then we can jump over to the web interface just to do a check configuration to make sure everything looks good there. And then we'll, of course, restart Home Assistant for our changes to take effect. All right, now we're ready to test this thing out and see what it looks like. Now I got the Home Assistant switch down here in the corner. Currently it is turned on and at 50%. So we're going to take that all the way to 100. As you can see, it got brighter. We'll go a little bit lower. My particular bulbs, I don't think can handle going that low. They don't. They only can dim so far, so they don't quite work. So let's take them back to 100, and then we'll just try turning them on and off. And as you can see, everything is working correctly and as it should in Home Assistant. That's pretty much the end of the video, guys. We now have a functioning Zemismart dimmer running the latest and greatest Tasmota firmware 6.7.0, which just came out today, which I think is pretty awesome. And it has a lot of fixes for the Tuya stuff, like the dimmers and stuff. So you definitely, if you're going to be doing anything with a Tuya dimmer or like anything that uses that specific type of Tuya motor, make sure that you're upgrading to the current Tasmota firmware for that. That being said, let's do a quick run through of everything we covered in this video. So for starters, of course, we unboxed the item, or the items, as this is part one of a two-part series. Once we did that, we installed the switch in my wall, in my bedroom. Works great. After we did that, we flashed with Tasmota. Unfortunately, I did a poor job of recording that for you, but I promise to eventually show you how to flash something myself versus just sending you over to DigiBlur, but he does a great job of that. Once we got it flashed with Tasmota, then we configured Tasmota, any changes that we need to make so that everything works properly. I showed you all the different settings and configuring the template and everything to get that up and running properly. And once we did all that, we added it into Home Assistant. Pretty easy setup there, just a few commands in just a few things to list there as the mqtt light component. And then of course lastly, I showed you what that looked like in action. Again, that's the end of the video, guys. I hope you liked the video. If you do, please subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions or comments, hit me up in the comments below. As always, if there are any videos out there that you would like to see that I don't already have out there, let me know in the comments as well, and I will see if I can't get something put together for you guys. Otherwise, I'll see you guys around. Thanks.